Hi, I'm Roger, and welcome back to my own little kitchen. Today we're going to be doing something a little unusual. Not a whole lot of people do this anymore, but I had it when I was a kid, and I still like it. Today we're going to braise fennel. Now, fennel is a vegetable that tastes a lot like licorice, but it's not a strong licorice flavor, so if you like licorice, you'll be happy with it. If licorice is okay, you'll still be happy with it. I like to use it as a side for strong fish like salmon, mackerel, things like that. If you use it for mild fish like sole, it will overpower it, so you don't want to use it there. So what I've done is I have two bulbs, and I'm cutting some of the stems down. You don't want a whole lot of stem left. But what you do want is some of the fronds for garnish. So you just want to rough chop a couple of the fronds towards the end so you don't get the thicker stem. Because you can see as it goes from the tip down, you have a thicker stem here. You don't want that. If you want to save the rest of it, you can freeze it and use it as a garnish on other foods, other fish. But for right now, we just need about 2 tablespoons. And what you want to do is you want to cut these down the middle lengthwise. And you want to be careful because cutting through the stem, it's going to go quickly. Once you get to the bulb, it's much denser. So make sure your fingers are always above your knife. And that's what the inside of fennel looks like. Now the stem here is very, very hard. You can almost hear it. I like to trim that off a little bit. Not too much because it holds the fennel together. It's almost like an onion. You have different layers around there. So you want to make sure you keep some of the stem to hold it together. And as a side dish, one of these is really enough. As you can see, I have a little bit of a blemish here. I'm just going to shave that off. See how easy that was? And then what you want to do is take your pan, put the trimmed fennel bulbs in there, like that. And what I've done is I've taken 1 3/4 cup of water and 2 tablespoons of granulated chicken bouillon. And I dissolve the chicken bouillon in the hot water. And I'm stirring it up now in case anything is set to the bottom. What you want to do now is put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, cover it for about 15 minutes. And while that's happening, we'll do the other part of our dinner, which is going to be pan-seared salmon. As you can see now, it's boiling. So I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and then I'm going to cover it and cook it for 15 minutes while I do the salmon. So this one's easy peasy. I just have some salmon here. I have salmon fillets. You can use salmon steaks, but the salmon steaks have the bone that goes through the middle, and so you have chunks of it instead. And what I have is some Old Bay seasoning. Just sprinkle it on as generously as you want. It's got quite a bit of punch to it, so if you've never had it before, start small. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the pan. Once the pan gets hot, I'm going to put some olive oil in it. Now my recipe says 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. But tonight I have a guest who is lactose intolerant. So always be aware of what your guests can and cannot have, especially food allergies. The pan is hot, time to add the oil. You know the oil's hot when it starts shimmering on the surface. Put it in the pan, and now I'll season the skin side. And now we'll wait for it to brown before I turn it over. So now the salmon is pretty much cooked on one side. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes. So I'm going to flip it over, add some white wine. In this case, we have some Chardonnay. You can often also use a Sauvignon Blanc, a dry white wine. And then I'm going to cover it and let it steam for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then everything should just about be done. So the salmon's covered. Again, we'll steam it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Around that time, the fennel should just about be done. I'll take it out, put it on a plate, and then mix a flour slurry to go into the stock that's still in the pan to make a sauce to pour over the fennel. So as you can see, the salmon is done. And the way you can tell is that it's flaking apart. It's solid, it's flaking, so it's done. So this is just about done. Let me take out the fennel and I'll thicken up the broth. So now I have 2 tablespoons of butter. I had it on the stove, so with the heat from everything else, it melted, which is okay. And I have 1 tablespoon of flour. This is sometimes called a roux when you add fat and flour or cornstarch or arrowroot. And what it does is it helps thicken up a larger mixture of broth or water or whatever. Ah, there we are, right on time. So now the fennel is done. I'm going to take each piece, put it on the plate. I'm going to add the roux or slurry to the stock in the pan until it thickens up. The fennel is all done. I'll put one on each plate. And you stir that up till it thickens. When you do that, you want to bring up the flame a little bit to help thicken it faster. And you stir it until there's no lumps and everything is incorporated. You can see how it's starting to thicken up. That's exactly how you want it. So now I'll take the salmon out. And last but not least, I'll spoon some of the butter mixture and there you have it. Salmon and fennel. Something you don't see every day, but something that's kind of common in Italian cooking. I hope you enjoy. Until next time, this is Roger from my own little kitchen.